David Martinez had followed the same routine for years. After finishing his night shift at the manufacturing plant, he'd stop at the Sunrise gas station around 6:30 a.m. for coffee and an egg sandwich. The store was always busy with familiar faces: nurses, contractors, and regular commuters. The routine was dull but dependable. Then one morning he noticed someone new, a well-dressed woman in her 30s, driving a silver sedan. She seemed nervous, constantly checking her phone and scanning the parking lot. She bought small items, always paid in cash, and waited in her car. Soon after, someone would arrive. She'd hand over an envelope and receive money in return. Then, like clockwork, she'd go inside, buy a lottery ticket, scratch it off, and leave. David started paying closer attention. The woman, he later learned her name was Sarah, came every day around the same time, parked in the same spot, and made short, deliberate exchanges with different men. Over the next few weeks, David saw at least 5 different individuals meet her in the same fashion. The exchanges were always brief, discreet, and followed by her quiet retreat into the store. Sarah's appearance began to change. She looked exhausted, her clothes less polished, her hands shaking. She smoked heavily, cried in her car, and appeared to be unraveling. Her morning phone calls grew tense, filled with what sounded like arguments or begging. David became worried. What was going on? One morning, he followed her carefully to a suburban neighborhood where he saw her helping an elderly woman with crutches into a house. It looked innocent, but something didn't sit right with him. The next day, after witnessing yet another exchange involving what looked like a bottle of pills, David confronted her. To his surprise, Sarah broke down. She confessed. Her gambling addiction had left her $50,000 in debt. At first, she'd only sold a few of her sick mother's painkillers, thinking she'd replace them. But things spiraled out of control. The small sales funded her addiction, and the lottery tickets were desperate attempts to win big and pay it all back. Her full-time job barely covered the interest on what she owed. David didn't judge. Instead, he helped her call a gambling addiction hotline and supported her decision to enter rehab. Sarah agreed to confess everything to her mother and begin making amends. What would you do if you discovered someone you cared about was hiding a desperate secret? One that risked everything.